Okay, here we go, everybody. Hello, I am with Phyllis Wilson. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome.
Yeah, you're awesome. Me, so you're awesome. Okay, Phyllis has made an incredible result, which was an $18,000 3-month sale with a $9,000 deposit with a really high level business strategist, actually, that was over 6 figures, I think. So today we're going to explain, or I am going to explain with Phyllis, exactly the transformation she has been going through from she first came to me, because she has had you had a $20,000 cash month you made several 10K sales. Mm-hmm. You actually, I think you made your first 10K sale almost like 5 or 6 weeks after January, like when we were in LA. It came pretty fast. And she started with me in LA, January, everybody. So you actually made your first 10K sale, like just 5 or 6 week, 5-figure sale, 3-month sales, which is incredible. Yeah. It really is really good. I personally spent 6 months. So, okay. There you go. Way back. But I want to go back to where you came from, because there's a lot of people that comes from the same place. In fact, a lot of my clients are coming in the exact same place, where you're having intuitive gifts, or you kind of know that you have intuitive gifts, and they're there, and you know, and you don't really know, but you don't really know how to turn it into sales, and you don't know how to deliver results with them, and you don't really know what to do with them a little bit. So can you tell everybody how that was for you, that period in your life? Because you had a 6-figure business selling business strategies. You didn't like that. Then you wanted to do your true self, if you like, your authentic self, and then nobody cared whatsoever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was awful. I actually didn't think, I truly didn't think that I could do anything real, like substantial or meaningful with my gift. I'm highly intuitive. I've always known that. I've always known that I could read people, and specifically relationships, really well. I always know what's going on between any two people at any given time. But it was like, what good is that? Like, what does that do for anybody? And nobody could ever really tell me that. I mean, I was in the business strategist world. And I was doing business coaching. I was doing business strategy. And that was what I thought was what I could do, which has nothing to do with my gift at all. But it was like, well, this sells. Yes. Business strategy sells. So that's what I'll do. I'll get really good at it. I'll get high level training. I'll do all of those things, and that will sell. Well, it did.
And you did. Yeah.
Yep. Until it was like, whatever you want to call it, my soul, my higher self, my whatever was like, this is not the right path at all. And I didn't really know what my right path was. I lost my business in early 2017 and then struggled, and I didn't know what to do with my gift. I used it a little bit. I got one client to do some coaching with, and that felt really good, but it was still like, I don't know what I'm using this for. Like, I'm just helping. Like, it didn't make any sense. And so it wasn't until I actually found you, and I did find you in mid 2017, but of course I was back in my, I had no money. Oh, that old Phyllis who had no money. That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
So yeah. And I didn't even know anybody talking about, that was my point. Nobody was talking about using your intuition or in my circles, because I was in the business strategy circles. Yeah. So it was like, intuition was like, oh. And so then when I found you and you're talking about using your gift to make real money, like not just like a little bit of money, but like real money. Wow. So that was the beginning of it all. But yeah, it was awful. I mean, yeah.
And I think it's important to understand because a lot of people think they're like not gifted or stupid or like there's something wrong with you because you just don't get it. You know, I remember you said that or somebody said that. That, you know, I can't sell it, it just doesn't work like that, right? So I think it's important to address that. I knew all along Phyllis wasn't stupid or anything, but here was the thing that was going on with Phyllis. She had so many things that she kind of was doing. She was talking about behind the scenes with her clients. She was working with kind of relationship between teams or a little bit something like that. You know, like she was helping like how to deal with a relationship within the company. But on the forefront, she was like, I'm going to help you step into your higher self and deal with all these things. But then she also had developed, which was fine, these archetypes and everything, which made sense, but like not really. What does it do for anybody?
Well, that was the thing. It makes sense, but it doesn't. I didn't know what it did for anybody.
Yeah, like, right? Yeah. You were kind of like, here, I have this great thing, which does, I don't know, or it does something, you know, but is it enough to people pay you $20K for that? Or,
right.
You know?
No, it was not.
Right. Is it anything, right? And that is the situation she was in, and that is the situation so many intuitives are in. Like they either go the strategist way, where they like literally copy a system, like you were doing. Okay, we're making sales, and their soul is like dying because that's not what they're really meant to do. So the first thing we did with Phyllis, like we went into her specifically, and I personally, because this is part of my gift, and really, really well, what is Phyllis' true direction and what is her true gifts? Like what about Phyllis? Because there's a lot about Phyllis. She's not just intuitive. She has a lot of different insights. There's she has a past and blah, blah. What is it about her that is so unique to her, which is not necessarily unique to me, but is very, very Phyllis? And we came down to, after a little while, it took a little time to get you on board with the whole thing, that it's about relationship consciousness, you know, between two people. She kind of already knew that, okay, but she didn't think of it as brilliant. She didn't think of it as, oh yeah, I'm a genius for sure. Like she didn't think of it that way, but that ability was already there. So the first thing we did was take away all the confusion about, is it a higher self? Is it their relationships? Is it the meditation? Like, what the fuck is it? What's really authentic to Phyllis? And I think it's important to say that you had been observing this all your life. So it's very important for your purpose now and until the day you die. Like, there's a very specific reason why you care about this and why this is something you can do, you know? So we took that and then we merged that with sales. That's what we did. Remember that? You can do this as a relationship coach. You can do this as a wealth coach. You can do this as whatever fuck you want. But what we did is we took her gift and we aligned that with, okay, how will Phyllis clients make immediate results? Okay. And this is where working with Charlotte is so valuable, because nobody else knows how to do that because they haven't figured it out, or they not me, you know. So Phyllis could see from her giving, insights about people. So it's not just a party trick. It's not just like there. How will that result in sales for her clients and immediately and right away? That was the whole, work. And I've been sitting and teaching Phyllis a lot. This is how sales works, Phyllis. This is how your gift is attached to the sales, Phyllis. This is how it's going to work, Phyllis. So Phyllis could really, really understand, oh my God, when I give this insight, this brilliant gift I have to this particular person, to a very specific right client, they are going to explore their finances. They are going to explode not only their finances, but their confidence in themselves. Like, they're going to be associated with their higher truth. Like, they're going to step in a completely different version of themselves, basically. But we also include the finances, right?
Yes.
You with me? This was the path for her. This was literally the path for her, because she didn't really, which is very normal, people don't really know how money works. Like, they don't see how money and their intuition are connected, really. Like, they just think they do. But I'm showing her the actual link from that to what was happening. And we were doing that for a couple of months, so she could really, really use her gift on her clients, clients, on within the relationships, within their business, like every relationship angle that's humanly possible, if you like, Phyllis will know how to do, and I want you to tell everybody what did you do specifically with your client right now in order for her to get results, because the $18,000 sale that Phyllis just did just closed a 9K sale, $3,000 deposit, and it was been dry for a long time. So what did you do with her to make that happen?
So it was pretty awesome. It was 2 days after our first session.
It was way more than pretty awesome, okay? It was fantastic.
What happened was that they hadn't made a sale in 6-7 months. And what we did is I got them to give me a list of all the people they're connected to right now, all of these people who either they had sales calls with in the past and the people said no, pretty recent past over the last 7 months. Because this is a multi-6-figure business owner. And so they have a lot of people around them. And the thing was, and I knew that everybody has a lot of people around them. Even when they don't think that they do, they do.
Yeah.
But them specifically, because they're they're really successful. So I got that list. And what I did is I pulled specific people out, specific names, and I asked them, and that was part of my gift, was like, I feel something about this particular person. Let me ask you. We talked about, so we went through some names. I picked out 3 immediately. And I said, okay, well, this is and some were people they had recent sales calls with and said no. Some were just kind of like, didn't give an answer at all, which is common. And then others, it was another one. I forget what the other one was. Anyway, it was, I told them exactly what to tell these people in an email or in emails, individual emails, to say, look, I told them the tone, like exactly how this person needed to hear from them. It's a team, so it's 2 people. That's why I'm saying them, by the way. So I said, this is the language you have to use. This is exactly what to say. It was very different for each individual person, because it always is. There's, one person, they needed to be really sweet and nice and gentle because this person was under like tremendous stress, but really, really needed their help. The point is, all 3 of these people really needed their help. But they did not know how to enroll them, like how to actually help them, because they couldn't communicate to these people, what they were going to do with them, specifically how they were going to help them, that's exact. So I just want to bring attention to the mirror of all of this, is that's what I had to learn in myself, like what my own work could do for people. But I learned that. And now that's what I told them. Not only how they have to talk to them, how they have to show up with them, how they have to, all of those things, but also specifically how they were going to work with this person and what results they were going to get if they approach the work in the specific way that person needed to work with them.
Yes.
So
important. Yes.
Yeah.
I just go ahead. It was important to understand that Phyllis, the ability of kind of knowing or reading people, if you like, and seeing what's going on between 2 people has always been inside of Phyllis forever. But and what has happened is after we have worked and done this process together, that has completely shifted into something magnificent. Like what she picks up is different because she understands how everything is connected right now from her gift to the sale. So she's like, oh my God, whatever she was perceiving in the past is something new right now. It's like her gift has expanded, if you like. The eyes have expanded. What she picks up means something different. Like, and she's starting to develop even more and more unique insight to like what exactly you have to say to this, why it is so important, and be really, really intimate with people, you know, which is something that's unique for Phyllis and what she particularly care about. And it can be used on in love relationships, in like child relationships with a parent, like it doesn't really matter, you know. But what is important is that you immediately understand the link back to money and sales, because there's one thing I tell my clients over and over again: if you're going to have a 20K sale, if you want anybody to pay you $20,000, they have to believe that they're going to get more than $20,000 back, because this is how the brain fucking works. Nobody invests $20,000 because, oh, well, let's see what happens. You know, they just don't do that. And the only way for Phyllis to convey that conviction or belief to the client is if she believes it herself first, which means she needs to see how she's going to do that. That it's all math, all right? It makes perfect sense. If you know exactly Phyllis.
Okay.
What?
Sorry, there was a little like audio blip.
Oh, it's probably just my hands.
It's okay.
I was just going to say, when you know your unique gift, if you like, and exactly how it brings in money, you sell, period. If it's not there, you don't sell. So there's just a lot of people that think they're clear on their gift and shit. The only way to figure that out, does your gift do what Phyllis gifts are doing? Do they immediately transfer sales, you know, after 2 hours or like 48 hours? If they're not, well, you haven't worked with geology yet. Like you're not really, really understanding how smart you actually are or how brilliant you actually are. And I think that is so important for everybody to understand, and for Phyllis also to reflect on, because she has always been brilliant and now she finally can see it, you know, real life kind of thing. And the other thing I wanted to say as well was she didn't only sign any kind of client, because not every client is going to have these results with you, okay? It's very specific clients that gets these results. And one of the things my clients get, including Phyllis, that I don't really promote, which I'm going to start promoting, is the belief, you get it from me, like energetical, if you like, that you're the most sexy woman in the world. Okay, meaning you're the most magnetic, delicious female that ever walked this planet Earth. That means that you are uber attractive, meaning that you can have anything or anyone you want at any time. Okay, this is an actual belief. We will go deeper into that, so you will start to obsess about that. Because you need that belief, you need that femininity in order to get the clients that's meant to work with you, because the female makes things easy. Okay, the female makes it, you know, okay, it's okay to have a client that is going to immediately leap with your gift. But in order to get that kind of client, you have to believe you deserve it.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe you're the most magnificent woman in the world, well, you're not going to get the person into your life. Because this was just a perfect client for Phyllis. This was a person on the sales call which cried and said, I don't know how to connect with people. I don't know how to connect with people, which is so for so many, which is normal. It wasn't weird with her. She just didn't know how to do that. And she was in the perfect situation for Phyllis' gift to do only that. Do you see it? Like, I think everybody sees that. It's just literally a match made in heaven, which immediately creates results. And you have to be connected with your body, with your sexuality, with the fact that nobody is more brilliant than you, like as a woman too, in order to get these people. Like I have clients, you know, all of a sudden there's an A-lister celebrity just flying in and they don't really know why, because of that, you know. And I've also done this with you, Phyllis, and with everybody else I work with. When we sharpen your boundaries, you know, with clients, when we're like, you do not wait for money. You don't sit there and wait for money. The clients needs to want you more than you want them.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big one. If somebody comes, they come with a payment on the call, you know, no bullshit. That is actually a relationship again. That's a worthy thing, that you deserve only the best. And when you live that in your actual personal relationships, you live that in in client relationship, you live that everywhere, and you really start to obsess about how beautiful you are, then people come. because why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have amazing clients coming in, you know?
Yeah.
And it's also a strategist. It's a business strategist, you know, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's the best combination.
Best.
And I think it's safe to say that Phyllis really, really, really did not believe she could have this kind of clients, because I remember you told me that.
No. But also these kinds of clients, but also it's actually related. I remember in January, when you actually said, I remember this, you were like, you should be a sales coach. And I was like, no, sales coaching. Are you crazy? I am not a sales coach. I am never going to be a sales coach. I hate sales. Obviously, I didn't have any. Like, and like, I want to go down the relationship road. I just want to do relationship coaching. I really just want to do that. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
And that took a while. But it was because of that I didn't believe that I could work with somebody that was making more money than me, or that was so business smart, like knew what they were doing and had like all this, like, how could I possibly help them unless they came out and said, oh, I have a relationship problem. Yeah. Like, that's where my mind was at with that. So yeah, there was no way in hell. And I also had this big assumption that because people were successful making all this money, that they had it all figured out. Like, they would not need me.
Yes.
At all. Now I understand how the whole thing works. And I understand when I understood how sales work and how you, like, the pieces, the components that you actually need for it, I saw what I was missing myself. Like, that made sense to me. So it's like, oh, okay, we'll just work on that. And that's what we've done. And now I'm like, oh my God, these people, they just have the opposite problem that I do. So it is a perfect match.
It is.
Yeah, like it's amazing what's happened. And now it's almost like the primary thing I do is sales, at least at the very surface level, at the very beginning. It's like, that's what has to happen. Which is really funny because
it's like, it's nothing wrong with being in a relationship coach and anything, but I remember at the time, the link from working on a love relationship to money was so weak that was the problem, because there's no way in hell you were going to believe that you were worth $20,000.
No.
You didn't see that specific link. That's why I taught Phyllis, what is the link between your brilliant gift that you don't even see right now and $20,000 cash for your clients? Like, what is the link? And it doesn't matter if it's a relationship love angle or it's a sales angle or anything, but that way for her to get it really, really fast was obviously to understand how sales works and everything. So we put that in. And when we're going to do the link from love to directly, you know, how do you have better sex? And that goes directly into money. Then that will be featured. You know, this is a lot of what I do, you know. Put on makeup, make sales. But it's not just to put on makeup. It's a very, very specific direct link, you know. It's not enough to just show up on a sexy picture with a great dress and then money just flies in the door because everybody thinks that was something. Right? So it was so important for her to see how everything fits together. I explained to Phyllis, like, I think over and over again, that God is 360. So that means that we master the finances, we master the sex, we master the body, we master, you know, everything, because that is the higher state of consciousness, which is the point of, you know, all of this, to live our purpose, to really, really do something magnificent. That was the point. And the amazing thing right now is that Phyllis is on track for her purpose, because she particularly cares about this relationship dynamics. You know, I specifically is not like the biggest fan of that. Like, I know how it works, but I am way more interested in how money is linked with everything, you know, how things work, right? So we're very different. And that's part of this, because your gift or your genius or your supernatural abilities, whatever you want to say, is for very specific people about very specific things. And once you crack that, it's go, 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 go. And there you have all the money.
Yep. Absolutely.
And more than that, I know this is something you and I agree on very much. And that is it's all about the impact, because only way you are actually going to be world famous, if you like, and really change the world is if your clients are innovators and your clients are coming from their own uniqueness and their own genius, if you like. They're coming from there. That's the only way to do it. And right now, Phyllis is helping her clients understand communication, understand consciousness, and so understand themselves, which of course will help them with inventing business strategies and all these crazy shit things that's going to happen for them, so that they actually become truly famous, which is the whole point of this.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. That's the other piece that I wanted to say, is that it's not, it's absolutely about sales. It's absolutely about the money, but it's about the fact that what I did for these clients in 2 days was that they had all these people around them that they could not connect with, that really needed their help, that really needed them. And they couldn't do it. They couldn't help them. And so I got them to be, I got them the help that they needed. And that is the really important thing. That's the work. That's that's what's closest to my heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're only going to understand that if you see what's easy for you, what's authentic for you, and how that relates to everything and everyone.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what happened. And so Phyllis right now are delivering extraordinary results, way better than any business coach, really, because they don't know how to do this. That's why the delivery rate is so low.
I agree.
That's why they don't really know. So what do you want to say to anybody which loves this, thinks about going to my event or anything like that?
Yes.
They're going to meet you too. So
say that again.
They're going to meet you too.
Yes, you'll be me. Yes. Yeah. It's time. It's time. There's so much bullshit out there. And there's so much good stuff too. But the point is that Charlotte, how to bring the call it the masculine and the feminine together, or, call it the business strategy and the heart and soul, whatever you want to call it. How to bring those together in a way that makes sense. So people can go and they can take a high level business strategy course, or they can work with a coach, or they can build fancy funnels, or they can do all of that stuff. If they don't know how the other side of it, if they don't understand the soul purpose side of it, into whatever you want to call it, then at some point they're going to hit a wall. You're going to hit a wall, and you might as well not go down that road, because honestly, it's painful. Just do it now. Just do it now.
I think I just want to add to that when you are discovering your, like Phyllis, what she was really good at, what she didn't even think of, like that. That's your ticket to your purpose. That's the ticket. Because everything else in your life, your relationships, your clothes, everything that's happened is supposed to come out of that authenticity. And it's because the true people that is really successful in the world, they do not copy anybody else. And the only way for you to create a business, not only a business, but a legacy that's authentic to you, is if you're authentic. That's the whole point, with you finally realizing and embracing what you already had and making sense out of that, because now finally you're on track. You're this far in your purpose. There's so much more that's happening and coming and everything, but it's just a magnificent start, I would say. All right, thank you. and we'll keep talking.
Okay.
Okay, bye.